The previous
empty rage. I'm inside an empty rage. I'm inside an empty rage. I'm inside an empty rage.
WLOU, Louisville.
But with this kind of experience, how can you prove that, as it were, it's not going on in their head? It's their experience that can't be proved in any way beyond it.
So what, you can't sleep?
I can sleep. I just don't want to. I can sleep. The spirit medium powers, like the immortals. His flesh and his bones are atomized. He becomes a dream.
year's show, as at every show, the competition to get noticed is as aggressive as ever. Despite this, there is one manufacturer whose impact on the UK car-buying public has been staggering. A company that in under 4 years has become the fastest-selling new make of car to break into the UK market. A company where Japanese technology comes Malaysian style. Proton.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Frankie, man. Let me say I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I say in this video is for entertainment purposes. Whatever I say in this video is my opinion. May not necessarily be factual. Don't buy and sell a stock because of anything that I say in this video. Also, you know, we got the proposals coming up, man, in the product like 30 days. Don't vote yes or no to those proposals based on anything that I say in this video also. Look, I got to say this to Aron, and I got to say this to the retail investors that blindly follow him. I got to let y'all know, man, that y'all are coming off as some parasites and bloodsuckers. You know, parasites and bloodsuckers, man, they normally just feed off of something until they just suck the life out of it until it's no longer living. See what I'm saying? Y'all coming off, man, as parasites and bloodsuckers. You see what I'm saying? Because y'all trying to paint the narrative that AMC is in the condition that it's in and it's not being as successful as it can be because retail investors are not supporting the company enough, that we're not buying enough products and we're not buying enough merchandise. So we're the reason why AMC is in the condition that it's in, but you ain't saying nothing about Aron, his decision making and his managerial skills. You see what I'm saying? And I'm simply saying that the company, you saying that we're responsible, that retail investors is responsible for the company not being financially successful. I'm saying that's a bunch of BS. You see what I'm saying? See, man, retail, to be honest with you, AMC retail investors in the apes have supported AMC in a way that no other investors have supported a company. We bought the hell out of AMC shares.
I don't think that's true.
Did it like that, man, for no
I don't think that's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Never, ever.
Here's the issue. Retail investors is not here to be a cash cow for the 1%ers, for Aron.
Oh, yes,
AMC,
you are.
Or AMC board. That's not what we're here for. You see what I'm saying? And see, I know.
Might not be what you came for.
You know, I know by now, man, a lot of people, they watched that video that Aron just did in one of the theaters, and he was explained he was explaining to some of the retail investors why we should vote yes for the proposal that's coming up. You see what I'm saying? So later on in the video, the video ain't gonna be that long. I'm gonna tell you, man, how my subscribers, how the majority of them, practically all of them, how they
We're gonna make it even shorter.
What Adam Aron was saying. But see, first let me say this, man. I know it's difficult for Adam Aron to deal with millions of apes.
Probably hell.
AMC retail investors, especially
Probably absolute hell.
See what I'm saying? I know it's difficult for us to have all the voting powers that we have. You see what I'm saying? But see, the trade-off for that is that the trade-off, for him dealing with all this stress is that one, man, we made AMC probably made the most popular stock in the stock market. You see what I'm saying? One of the most talked about stocks, whether people like it or whether they hate it. We saved the company from
sure Tesla's more popular.
Not these, yeah, he got some help, but these distressed, man, credit investors and these institutions that he's working with, he's working with, and they're against us right now. Those institutions didn't save AMC. The retail investors saved AMC. You see what I'm saying? So now
that's not what he said.
It seemed like, man, Adam Aron, it seemed like, man, he's kind of pissed off because, we didn't help him raise the money in the summer of 2021.
There's no reason to, Romanian.
To raise, because I guess he wanted to use that money, to pay off more debt. He said he wanted to use it, to get rid of the short sellers. Like I said in the video yesterday, there's no guarantee just because, first of all, I don't even know if he would have paid off all the debt. Second of all, we're dealing with criminal short sellers. Just because, man, he would have paid off a lot of the debt or even become debt-free, it don't necessarily mean that these criminal short sellers wouldn't have still been tampering with the stock. You see what I'm saying? Because nobody's stopping them from doing what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, I just think, man, he need to understand that, it's consequences, man, from Adam Aron just saying, well, you know what, man, forget them. I'm going to kill their short squeeze play, or I'm going to take 90% of their shares just because they didn't vote for what I wanted them to vote for in 2021. And I feel like that's what he's doing. I'm just going to say, man, there's consequences from that. You see what I'm saying? It's always, man, consequences from being vindictive. And I just leave that alone. I let that lay right there. You see what I'm saying? And if you ask me, AMC,
except,
the condition that is in,
negative examples,
and it's not
what not to do.
Investors. One of the reasons is, I think, is Adam Aron's managerial style, how he managed, along with his relationship with the 1%ers and the institutions. You see what I'm saying? I think another reason is it seemed like he lacks the ability to be able to raise money and put AMC in the financial situation that it needs to be in.
I don't think they will. I don't think they would. Even if they did issue them or authorize them.
That's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Furthermore, this is a big problem. Adam Aron, man, has failed to do anything about the illegal naked shorting and the criminal activity.
Well, we're going to talk about that here momentarily.
You see what I'm saying? Which has caused retail investors to lose, man, probably, man, billions of dollars. You see what I'm saying? And my thing is, I look at it like this.
Well, you should look at it like this. You don't lose until you sell. So if you haven't sold, you haven't lost. That's what they say. That's what they say. But he's sitting there, whining and crying about unrealized losses. Have it both ways.
AMC, man, is worldwide. You see what I'm saying? I think they got over 900 theaters, probably more than that. See what I'm saying? It's 8 billion people on the planet. So my thing is, Adam Aron need to learn how to tap into, to enhance or expand his customer base and improve what he has to offer to make people, man, want it. You see what I'm saying? He need to tap into those 8 billion people. You can't just sit back and if you need to make money in the company and you want the company to be financially successful, you can't just, man, bleed out your shareholders or exploit your shareholders just to make money. You worldwide. It's 8 billion people on the planet. So tap into it. And see, here's what, as far as, like I was saying, as far as my subscribers, here's what a lot of them had to say
7.8.
about him saying that he wanted a yes vote. And they all said they voted no. They said, for one thing, man, they said that retail investors are not here to be a debt resolution machine for Adam Aron and AMC. They said that they don't trust Adam Aron. They said that it's not the shareholders' responsibility to pay off all the AMC debt. You see what I'm saying? They feel like Adam Aron is using retail investors as a scapegoat. You see what I'm saying? And they said that he's the reason why retail investors have lost billions of dollars. And they also said that that retail investors over the past 2 years, a lot of the money, man, that we put into the stock has went to criminal hedge funds because Adam Aron didn't do anything to stop these criminals or do anything about the illegal naked short. That money could have been used toward making AMC a more profitable company. Could have improved their finances. But hedge funds got a lot of the money that we put into the stock. You see what I'm saying? And finally, man, like I said, this guy right here, he said, man, we're not a cash cow for AMC. And this was a big one. They said that Adam Aron, his decision making is bad.
Not a cash cow, but
had a chance
they could have used the money to improve the company.
To pay off a lot of debt, and he screwed that up. You see what I'm saying? So, man,
no,
man, I'm gonna close with this.
No, retail investors screwed that up. I always want to say last year, 2021, when they were greedy and said literally no dilution until we have a squeeze. And Adam Aron said at that Phoenix, Arizona event, which I have to imagine he only went to because he went to the Super Bowl. He even said that. First of all, firstly, he said, I'm here. I came to Phoenix to meet with you guys. And then later on in the presentation, he said, so yeah, I'm in Phoenix for the Super Bowl. So this, but he said that if they had sold shares in 2021, they could have paid off the debt. Now, he didn't say that they would have paid off the debt. He just said they could have paid off the debt. So I don't know if that's a distinction that matters, but he didn't say that we would have paid off our debt. He said, I'm pretty sure he said we could have paid it off. It's a small nitpicky point. But the Marine seems convinced that Adam Aron has never indicated that he would pay off the debt. And I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily a good idea or not. But anyway, he didn't screw it up. You guys screwed it up. The way I see it.
If out of vindictiveness, like I said, if Adam Aron make a decision to take 90% of our shares, and he make a decision.
Here we go with this 90% of the shares thing again.
In our Moass, because he know exactly what he's doing. He know what we want. So if he make a decision, man, to take out shares and to kill the Moass, I'm just gonna say that'll be
well, they wouldn't have been profitable.
He's making, on top of all the other bad decisions.
Certainly.
And there's gonna be a decision, man, that painfully affect AMC.
And I don't know why anybody cares about the debt anyway. That is not going to, I mean, imagine a world where people are so desperate for any catalyst for a short squeeze that happened 2 years ago that paying off the company's debt, retail investors are actually talking about, and some of them are obsessed with, the idea of a corporation paying off $5 billion of debt. I mean, that to me is absurd. It's completely absurd. And yeah, the closing theaters, figure out a way to be profitable. But I don't even know if it's possible because it's an old business model. It's an old business model. It doesn't mean that it's not going to exist, but it's not going to exist the way it did in 1960, for example, or even 1980, or even 1995. So, yikes. So, I want to talk about a few different things here, but first of all, he mentioned naked shorting, of course. dilution is like duct tape to hold things together, using duct tape. Well, that may be true, but reverse dilution is like exchanging all your single dollar bills for larger denominations. I don't know. Make it look like you have more money. All right. I'm. It's my belief, or at least opinion, that the reverse stock split is so important because AMC will be in danger of being delisted, and so will Ape. So that would be catastrophic. That would that would not be good. So this way, 10 to 1, 1 for 10, whatever. It buys some more time. Oh, like the apes always like to say, kicking the can down the road. And it also notably kind of resets the bar for short sellers, because now you don't have to short from 4, you can short from 40. So that's nice of him. Okay, so he mentioned naked shorting. So this is from the GameStop congressional hearing, and let's see, this was posted on March 18th. I'm not sure when this actually occurred. Here's the original video. Let's look at that. Well, no, March 17th. Okay, so somebody clipped it out of this long video, and this is the part. It says legal naked short selling of GameStop explained by an expert at congressional hearing. So this is obviously a title that was put on here by this person, which I don't know if we know this person or not, but it looks like they went back to car videos, and so they were doing, I don't know, all kinds of weird stuff. $100 lottery scratcher challenge. Okay, cool. So they were doing car videos. They did a gambling, lottery scratcher video. They put together an IKEA bed and baby toys. Then they have a Keith Gill video from that hearing, and a naked short selling video from that hearing, and then they went back to cars. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe they gave up on it. But I don't really care about T-Tech Productions. What I'm interested in is what this guy says, or what the other guy says. Can you imagine Scavenger, Frankie, and Donnie testifying in call? That would be an absolute shit show. Absolute shit show. They allow Proud Boys into the, I don't know.
In the previous hearing, I asked Mr. Plotkin of Melvin Capital whether his firm was ever naked short selling on GameStop stock, and he said, no, the systems won't even allow that. That would be impossible for us to do. Yet according to a
this is what this is the same thing that Mark Cohodes has said. He said that it's not even possible for them to do it. He said that. So, of course, they're both hedgies, so they're inherently untrustworthy. I'll get to your question in a moment, Romanian.
Bloomberg government,
or you guys in the chat can jump in with your answers.
The SEC data, $359 million of GameStop shares failed to deliver or be covered, suggesting many of the shares had been borrowed more than once. I think Mr. Plotkin's testimony was truthful, but can you explain what's happening
it was
when
truthful.
So many shares failed to deliver?
Sure. Thank you for your question. The current regulation only requires broker-dealers to have a reasonable, or institutional investors have a reasonable ground to believe the security can be borrowed, so that it can be delivered on the delivery date. So it's a reasonable belief. Now, I don't know about Mr. Plotkin's system, although it sounded like a pretty good system when he said it, which is he says unless his firm has identified, in fact, the security and to have it deliverable, it doesn't even allow them to short a position. But that's not actually the law, as I understand it. As I understand it, it's a reasonable belief, and that people can have a lot of reasonable beliefs. And we have massive failures to deliver of GameStop stock in January. So not only do we have a short position that exceeds about 140.
Okay, check this out. This is the GameStop failure to deliver information from 2021. And remember, this number here fails to deliver. That's a total, like a running total. So that number gets added to and subtracted from. So like, for example, on the 25th, there were 275,000 fails. The next day, they added 1.8 million for a total of just over 2 million. The next day, 126,000 came off. The next day, 939,000 came off. The next day, 894,000 came off. And the next day, 127,000 came off. So that, like, what? 4 days later, it went from 2 million fails down to just over 10,000, or just under 11,000. 10,000 went from 2 million to 10,000 in a matter of 4 days. What is the big deal? I mean, look at the trading volume on these days. 706, I'm looking right here with a V. I mean, all throughout here too. I mean, it's several million, 100 million popped in there, 300 million, 228 million, 716 million, 378 million. Okay. So that's pretty high volume. What was the GameStop float at that point? I thought it was less than that, but I mean that's total shares though, outstanding. But anyway, thought it was something like 75 million, but I could be wrong. This says 261 million outstanding. And these volume numbers are actually a lot higher than what Chart Exchange shows. So anyway, we'll use these because 1.5 billion, 2.2 billion, 1.2 billion, 1.4 billion. Oh, this is weekly though. Shit, weekly. Don't want weekly. Those are, of course, they're going to be bigger. Yeah, okay, these match up, but I mean here you got billions of shares traded in a week. Even if there were 260 million, I mean that's several times the float. So I think it's safe to say that there was plenty of trading volume here, right? There's plenty of activity. People could buy shares, people could sell shares, and there wasn't any problem. So let's go back to the video here. Oh, and remember, the failed delivers went from 2 million down to 10,000 in 4 days, 4 trading days. Pretty efficient.
40% of the available belief, and that people can have a lot of reasonable beliefs. And we have massive failures to deliver of GameStop stock in January. So not only do we have a short position that exceeds about 140% of the available float at the time, but then subsequently we have a massive failure to deliver those securities at the time of delivery. So, and I'm sure, as Mr. Piwawar said earlier, the SEC is looking carefully at this, and I would expect their report to provide us with a lot more information. But as of right now,
well, that expectation was not fulfilled by that report, as far as I recall from reading it a couple years ago. But anyway,
publicly available information certainly indicates that there's a very high likelihood of some abusive short selling by somebody.
All right, so let me ask you this.
So even this guy The best he can do. This is the best he can do.
Certainly indicates that, but as of right now, the publicly available information certainly indicates that there's a very high likelihood of some abusive short selling by somebody.
That's the best he can do. Just pointing this out.
All right, so let me ask you this. So, I mean, Mr. Luchtenmeyer talked about sales 140% of existing shares. I mean, how does that happen?
Well, in the securities lending business, it happens because somebody lends a security to somebody who lends it to somebody else to lends it to somebody else. It goes by the technical name of rehypothecation. And what it does is you have this cascade effect where you, in fact, have the same security lent out multiple times. And then arguably you have short sellers having a reasonable belief at a period in time that that's the security that they could reasonably deliver at the delivery date. The problem is that that security has now moved to somebody else who has a reasonable belief that that very same security is the one he can deliver or she can deliver. And so
this is the weakest argument ever, and I can't honestly believe that this guy sat here and said this. Let me go back.
Period in time that that's the security.
Listen.
And what it does is you have this cascade effect where you, in fact, have the same security lent out multiple times. And then arguably you have short sellers having a reasonable belief at a period in time that that's the security that they could reasonably deliver at the delivery date. The problem is that that security has now moved to somebody else who has a reasonable belief that that very same security is the one he can deliver or she can deliver. And so
it's such a foolish statement. I mean, really from multiple angles, but I guess I'll just
the way
finish.
The system works now, it's almost a house of cards. And I agree with several of the witnesses who said one of the things that needs to be understood and disclosed at a much more granular level is not only the activities of the short sellers, but we need to have greater disclosure and granular knowledge of what's happening in the securities lending market.
Well, you have ortex. I mean, that's not good enough.
Short sellers having a reasonable belief at a period in time that that's the security that they could reasonably deliver at the delivery date.
Okay, so none of this is actually relevant to naked short selling, which is also baffling to me. You know, because it was pretty much agreed upon that Gabe Plotkin's testimony was accurate. He wasn't lying when he said that he was naked short on these stocks, and that he doesn't actually have any way to actually do that. That it's up to the broker to either process the trade or not. So that's null and void. Then this clown said that they're based on the publicly available data, there's reasonable suspicion to believe that there was abusive activity. I don't even know if he said naked short selling by somebody. Okay, well that's good. Don't know who, don't know when, don't know why, but we have a reasonable he has a reasonable belief, right? But then this statement, this right here just takes the fucking cake for me.
Have the same security lent out multiple times, and then arguably you.
So that's true. You have the same security lent multiple times, and by the way, once it's sold, really it operates just like any other sale. Also, like any other purchase for the other side. So if a retail investor buys it, they don't have any way of knowing it. The brokerage doesn't have any way of knowing it either. As far as they're concerned, there's a long position here. So there's no way that that is marked or flagged at all. So it looks like a long position because it is a long position. And so it becomes available for lending again. That's still not naked short selling. But
you have short sellers having a reasonable belief at a period in time that that's the security that they could reasonably deliver.
okay, he's making the point that short sellers believe that, you know, they could reasonably purchase that security back, but
at the delivery date. The problem is that that security has now moved to somebody else who
that security has now moved to somebody else who has
has a reasonable belief that that very same security is the one he can deliver or she.
is the one he can deliver, right? But I mean, the gross like negligence here is the fact that shares of stock are fungible, like money. In other words, if I lend you $1 and you give me $1 back in a week, you don't have to give me back the same dollar. In fact, you can't give me back the same dollar. If you, in fact, used it to buy something, there's no way for you to return the same dollar. You don't need to. All dollars are the same. Shares of stock are the same. They're all the same. They're all interchangeable. So he's using the term security, um, but I think he really means share, that very same share, which it would never be. It would never be the same share because the short seller needs to buy it from someone. The short seller needs to buy the stock. They don't need to buy that share. In fact, they most likely would not buy that share because that share is now being held by somebody that they sold it to. So what? They have to buy it back from that person? No, they have to buy the stock. And we looked at the trading volume, billions of shares traded in a week, hundreds of millions of shares traded in these days here. I think that there was enough trading activity that if somebody wanted to buy a stock, they could buy it. And if somebody wanted to sell a stock, they could sell it and somebody would buy it. And if they wanted to buy it, somebody would sell it. So this is the weakest, flimsiest argument. I mean, and it makes sense. It's coming from this empty suit, to another empty suit here. I mean, these guys are clueless. I mean, guys, tell me if I'm missing something here, but this makes absolutely no sense, and it's embarrassing. And this is these are the people that make the regulations. These are the people that are quote unquote elected to run things. I mean, and this is just a total joke. Nothing in here spoke to naked short selling at all. The only thing they did, I don't even think they defined it. But I mean, you're talking about a period of time where there was, you know, not really anything to worry about as far as shares being traded, trading volume. So, and not to mention, I mean, if they were smart, they would have held on to the short position and covered it later. But yeah, I just found this to be really interesting and stupid, like most things like this. Um, Better Markets. So Better Markets, one of these organizations that is, I guess fighting against naked short selling or something. I don't know. Um, so yeah, and well, we've talked about short selling and long positions and short positions kind of being the yin and yang that cancel each other out as far as the economics go. Um, and it really it's the same thing with multiple shares, multiple lendings of the same share. At the end of the day, so to speak, uh, when all is said and done, all those long and short positions that are paired together will basically cancel each other out, and you'll be left with the original long position. So I didn't catch this the first time I heard this. I didn't. I have to admit this, but it was also 2 years ago. Um, but that really struck me as particularly ignorant. And I mean, who is this? Who is this clown? I mean, Dennis Kelleher. Better Markets. Yeah, we know that. What else? Wow, he's been quoted more than 3,000 times, done more than 140 live TV appearances. Oh, great. Served as a member of the Biden-Harris transition team. Oh, great. Uh, so he worked for 8 years in senior staff positions in the Senate. So bullshit. I mean, oh, 4 years as active duty Air Force. Brandeis University and Harvard Law School. God, I mean, I just don't get this. What a joke. So, all right. So that's, you know, legal naked short selling according to this person, but it's not. It has nothing to do that has nothing to do with naked short selling. The only things that you can really find about naked short selling, because I'm trying to figure out how it could be identified, how it could be proven, and I haven't found a way. I have not found a way. The only thing that is ever mentioned, the only thing that's ever mentioned, which again is a misconstruing of the data, is FTDs. But the SEC and FINRA are very clear in what they say. FTDs are not necessarily an indication of naked short selling, that they can come about as a result of long and short sales. But there's a number of reasons why that FTD happens. And it's a failure to deliver the share. It happens at the settlement period, and the economic impact has already taken place in terms of the price. So it's really, a mountain out of a molehill, and it can't be proven. As far as I have been able to find, there are some scholarly papers that you can look up on Google Scholar to talk about it. But the problem here again is a lot of these papers are old. 2008, 2009, 2006. So the regulations were different. 2009, lot of activity around that period because that's when the regulations came in after 2008. So this paper, for example, here, Naked Short Selling, Is It Information-Based Trading, from 2013, citing a widely held belief that naked short selling is not based on company fundamentals. The SEC has substantially tightened Reg Show closeout regulations in an effort to eliminate naked short selling. Contrary to accepted belief, we find that accounting fundamentals are highly significant in explaining naked short sales. Further, naked short sales contain incremental information about future stock prices. Let's see. And I almost guarantee they're going to look at FTDs as a proxy of, yes, naked short sales exist because the clearing system allows the sale transaction to occur before the shares are delivered. So settlement happens afterwards. Putin, I don't know, reports that between 1.5% and 5% of average trading volume in the main exchanges between 2004 and 2009 involved failures to deliver. Okay. An intriguing aspect of naked short selling is that the traded shares do not exist. Selling phantom paper shares artificially increases the supply, yada, 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 allegedly causing a decline in price. For this reason, naked short selling is commonly labeled as abusive by critics. Let's see, closeout requirement. So again, they're taking FTDs as a proxy of naked short sales. Closeout requirements. The conclusion of this particular paper is really interesting. Naked short sales occur for a variety of reasons. Note that many are caused by unintentional error or delay in the delivery of shares. suggests that some short sales are initially covered, then fail to deliver, i.e., become naked when the lender of the shares backs out through no fault of the short seller. However, some naked short sales are intentional. Many nakeds occur because a security is thinly traded or difficult to borrow, leaving naked short as a primary option. Again, this is old. And it was legal before 2008. So finally, as discussed above, the popular press and regulators allege that many naked short sales are intentional and designed to manipulate a firm's stock price downward. The SEC alleges that naked short sales, quote, may be responsible for the sudden and unexplained price declines of many equity securities. Okay, so then they talk about the regulations, threshold security. And then they talk about their research design. So we jump down to the conclusion. Right here, we use fail to deliver data made available by the SEC to decompose total short interest into naked and covered components. To our knowledge, we are the first to use this decomposition. Well, I don't know how accurate it is. Our findings indicate that accounting fundamentals are highly influential in naked short selling. Naked short interest is significantly associated with each of the three measures of accounting fundamentals. Naked short sellers are able to identify firms that will experience poor stock returns. While we do not attempt to refute the claim that naked short selling can be manipulative in some instances, we find consistent evidence across a range of tests. On average, naked short selling is a type of information-based trading. By showing that naked short selling is not inherently abusive on average, the evidence could also be important to hedge fund managers, prime brokers, and other defendants in ongoing litigation, alleging that naked short selling constitutes market manipulation. Lastly, the widespread belief that naked short selling is not information-based trading led to short selling bans in several countries. And they say that they need to do more research on it, which is the classic academia conclusion. We conclude that we need to study this more. But the point really here is the only thing that anybody can ever point to is failure delivers, but that's not really a good way to do it from what the data, how the data is described. So getting back to this guy, GameStop short interest went over 100%. But eventually those positions get closed and it creates buying pressure, just like with any short selling. If all things were equal and there were no other trading volume and the first half of the day consisted only of short selling and the second half of the day consisted only of closing of short positions, the price chart would look like a V. It would look like a V because you would have selling and then buying. So what mucks it up, so to speak, is all of the other activity that's happening. People who panic sell, the price is tanking or the price is going down, or the people who aren't buying, not enacting buying pressure, or the people who are buying and counteract the selling. So it's in and of itself, you know, is it really, so bad, especially when you consider somebody's buying on the other side of that. So buy orders are being filled with these shares that somebody is selling that simply they're borrowed from somebody else. So if you have aggressive buying, how will that affect the price? I mean, aggressive buying met with aggressive selling or met with uh, passive selling, but in the case of short selling, it's going to be aggressive. Um, it's not necessarily a negative, uh, only a negative phenomenon. So GameStop short interest more than 100%. not naked short selling. Nobody in this video even alleged that it was, which is odd. So they're not talking about legal naked short selling. Shorting a share or a share being lent more than once for short selling is not naked short selling. It's not naked short selling. And when all the positions are closed, all the shorts and longs cancel each other out. You have a no, that nets to zero all the way down the chain, and then you're left with the original long position. So all in all, this is garbage. This guy sucks. Congress sucks. Look at this guy. Nice twigs back here. Like what is this crap? Yeah, good. You have bookshelves with a bunch of pictures on them in your office. Fantastic. So, but I mean, I didn't even realize that it was this. To be honest, I didn't realize that these numbers were this. So yeah, it hit 2 million. But 4 days later, it was 10,000. That's not, again, that this is a total number, cumulative number. So this is a running total. It's decreasing here. I fail to see. I fail to see, the big deal. I mean, yeah, it's sustained here, but this is when you have massive buying. So how much of this was Keith Gill himself popping over to AMC, the same period? Look at that. From the 8th, so that would have obviously been a Friday. And I guess that's Martin Luther King weekend, maybe. Because, yeah, look at that. 11.5 million on the 8th. Let's go to here, too. So we're looking at January 8th, right here. 39 million shares traded of AMC. I'm on the right stock, right? Yeah. They don't have the volume on this chart, but 1/8/21 right here. Yeah, let's move this over so we can see a little bit better. Right here. 39 million shares traded, 11.5 million FTDs. Ultimately, we didn't find that out until later because it's not real time. But then the very next trading day, 11.5 million FTDs are covered right there. And it goes down to 5,900. And what happens in the volume too? The volume picks up. Let's see. Let's jump forward to the 15th, maybe. 15th. Only 102,000 FTDs. Okay, the 20th. What happened on the 20th? Right here, this day. 181 million shares traded. And remember, was the total number of shares at that point was like 224 million. Yeah, 225 million, quarter of a billion. It's about half of what it ended up being now. So that's over half the float, which is again is no problem. 13 million. And then the very next day, 10 million are covered. The next day, the other 3 million are covered. Pretty efficient. 27 million on the 27th on a day when you literally had 1.25 billion. 1.25 billion shares traded. So, and the very next day, God, I didn't realize it was this efficient. This is actually very interesting. The very next day, and I'm going to put green for an increase and red for a decrease. The very next day, shit. Motherfuckers. So you get 27 million this day. And then you have minus 27 million, almost exactly the same figure this day. On a day when 1.25 billion were traded, 27 million. Which is, I don't know, about 2%. And the very next day, almost all of them were covered. Pretty interesting. And on the fabled day of June 2nd, was nowhere near. The volume was about half of what it was on that GameStop day. Of course, the notional value is more because of price, 62.55. Anyway, not really, doesn't really seem to be anything here. There's no way to prove naked shorts, and maybe that's why this narrative is so popular. I don't know, because there is no way to prove it. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know if people know Lucy Commissar. Lucy Commissar is see here. Got so many tabs open. This lady, this old lady, older woman, this person, and I guess she has been on a mission from God for a while to talk about naked shorting and problems in the market. And she was adopted by the super stonk crowd, the GameStop zealots, and talked about that a lot. So this article is from February 25th, 2021. So I just kind of highlighted some highlights in this article here. She defines short selling and says that short selling accounts for as much as 50% of daily trading. Now, I'm not sure what that means as far as daily trading in general across all stocks or in a specific one. So we're talking about GameStop here or just on average. But I mean, what this sounds like is a short volume quote, quoting short volume, which is not the same as short interest. If 50% of trading on a stock were short selling, I mean, that would be a lot. Don't really believe that. It seems like she's talking about short volume, which we've been over a lot, talked about it a lot. It's another one of those BS mechanics of the way that they have this set up. Naked short selling is when the trader doesn't find the shares to deliver. Well, the trader, I didn't highlight that. I should have. The trader doesn't find the shares. The broker finds the shares. I mean, I know that it seems like I'm nitpicking, but how is a trader going to go find shares? The trader doesn't interact with the market. The trader interacts with the broker, who interacts with the market, the securities lending market. So that's not correct. It's costly to big hedge funds to locate hard to borrow shares. Okay, big hedge funds, big hedge funds. Don't they have more money, more capital than, I don't know, small hedge funds or individuals? It's costly to locate hard to borrow shares. Again, they don't locate them. So prime brokers who carry inventory of stocks for high volume short sellers simply lie about the borrows to assist their favorite clients. A citation is needed there. You're alleging that they're lying about it. And there's no, I mean, what's the proof? What's the evidence? No. It's a scam central to the stock trading system. The SEC has long been run by revolving door officials. DTCC is owned by the prime brokers such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citi, and run in their interests. GME. So now, again, we've talked about naked short selling, and now we're going to parlay this into talking about GameStop short interest 140%. GME sold short 140%, this Democratic representative said. Why isn't that manipulation? She meant that short sellers sold 40% more shares in GameStop than existed. This is Lucy now. They were phantom shares that didn't exist, but that were posted in buyers' accounts as quote unquote entitlements. The buyers have no idea they don't have real shares, This makes no sense because if you buy a share and your order happens to be matched with a short seller, you don't know that. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's, in fact, it's the exact same as the situation here, even if the short interest is below 100%, because a share is borrowed from an account that holds it long. It's sold by contract into the market. Somebody in the market is interested in buying a share. The DTC matches traders. They match buyers with sellers, and they say, okay, this one goes to this guy, this one goes to this guy, that kind of thing, automated, of course. And you have the contractual rights of ownership are transferred to you, which is all that you ever have anyway, contractual ownership rights. You don't actually own anything. You are bestowed the rights of ownership when you buy a share. So the buyers have no idea they don't have real shares. What are real shares? It makes no sense. In other words, large numbers of locates or borrows were fake, making the shorts naked. Why does it matter? Because naked short selling causes the number of shares in the market to increase. I love this argument too. This is so ignorant. Naked short selling causes the number of shares in the market to increase, which normally makes their value drop. More shares equal less value. It can massively disrupt the market, as GameStop showed. Okay? Massively disrupted the market in favor of whom? That's the first question. The next question is, causes the number of shares in the market to increase, which normally makes their value drop. But what about this case? If it normally does it, we went to the trouble of saying normally, does it do it in this case? More shares equal less value. Okay. But remember, these positions are offset by the short position that's attached to it, the seller. So if the stock goes up by $1, the short seller loses $1. Whoever bought that from them gains $1. So it's no net change. So what the hell is she talking about here? It's pretty ridiculous. And I mean, this is what you find if you actually try to look this stuff up. This is what I'm trying to show here. I'm trying to show that if you actually try to do research on this, what you find is a bunch of garbage. You can't find anybody talking about it in an intelligent way with evidence. You can't. More than 1 million GameStop shares were deemed failed to deliver, meaning buyers never got the shares they ordered. $359 million in stock was in limbo, with buyers lacking cash. Buyers lacking cash. Okay, that's supportive of the point here. Or sellers not having the shares to settle trades. Okay. But I mean, as we saw, 4 days later, they did. Excuse me, they did. So where'd they come from in 4 days? 4 days later. And even, from one day to the next, I mean, it was just covered, 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 covered. Rolling clock to infinity, I don't buy that argument. They don't need any shares on the day they are traded. That's true, but that doesn't create a rolling clock to infinity. I've heard that argument before. Where is this at here? So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. The impact of naked short selling. These researchers found slightly higher stock return volatility and a small reduction in liquidity when naked short sales are allowed. This one's also old. So this one outlines the clearing and settlement, pays particular attention to what happens when the seller of stock fails to deliver that stock at settlement, and describes the mechanisms to resolve delivery failures. Failed deliveries can occur for a number of reasons, such as human error, administrative delays, and the controversial practice of naked short selling from 2010. Okay, let's see. So $359 million of stock was in limbo. I mean, I guess technically, but I mean, the buyer doesn't know that the security wasn't delivered, quote unquote delivered. I mean, all it is a digital tally mark in a ledger at the DTCC. But you can sell stock even before it settles. So, I mean, and that creates an FTD, by the way. If you buy a share of stock and the trade has not settled, and then you turn around and sell it, so it's like a day trade or the next day or whatever, that likely creates an FTD. So that's a long sale that creates an FTD. Buyers lacking cash. I don't know how that supports anything here, or sellers not having the shares to settle trades. So again, if the shares were returned, like if there was a short seller who covered a position on Monday, those shares can be relent by the lender, or they can go directly to the next um, the next borrower. They don't even have to go through the centralized stock lending clearinghouse. So they can create an agreement with someone else. That would likely create an FTD because the shares didn't settle. I mean, clearly it is that complicated because everybody seems to think that this is some type of thing that will cause a short squeeze, like in AMC at least. Um, and I mean, strictly speaking, they're supposed. I mean, again, who are we even talking about here? We're talking about brokers. We're talking about brokers. At the end of the day, a trader is going to submit an order to sell short, and it's either going to be executed, in which case that trader, because the way the regulation is, the trader can only assume that the broker was able to locate shares to borrow. So I guess my point is that when Frankie and people like that sit there and rail against criminal hedge funds and illegal naked shorting and all this kind of stuff, um, if it is happening, which again, there's I don't, and it's my contention that there's no way to prove this, especially based on the data that we have. I mean, hell, this we were just listening to a congressman and some guy who's supposedly an expert in this who totally butchered the whole thing. Um, and they didn't they mentioned naked short selling and then they went on to talk about the shorting over 100% of the stock, which is not naked shorting. So, I mean, nobody knows shit, basically. But everybody has a strong emotional belief about it, and they think that it's, going to make them rich or something. And it's I'm just saying it's nonsense. That's all I'm saying. It's nonsense. And if that's what people are hinging on, I mean, all you have to do is just look at it, just look at what has happened already. You know, June 2nd, there was not a huge for AMC. June 2nd, 2021. Oh, why did I go back that far? Shit. 1.2 million out of what, 700 million, 700 something million on these days. So kind of a nothing burger. And not to mention the fact that they were almost immediately taken care of. So again, I say that's highly efficient if that's, you know, and the thing that really gets me is that, they have this T plus 35 date here, the closeout date, the date they have to cover them by. Okay. Um, well, here we see from June 1st to June 2nd, there was net covering. From June 2nd to June 3rd, there was net fails. From June 3rd to June 4th, there was net covering of practically the same amount. By June 7th, the entire 5.4 million that had accumulated by June 3rd had been reduced to 49,000. And you have clowns sitting here, like on YouTube, that will look at this data and say, they'll look at a day like June 3rd, and let me highlight this whole row. They'll look at a date like June 3rd, and they'll sit there and tout the T35 date, July 6th, and say, oh, guys, AMC is going to run on July 6th because they have to cover 5.4 million FTDs on July 6th. When you can clearly see here that, well, if there were 5.4 million on the 3rd, by June 4th, that had been basically cut in, to a quarter less. And by the next day, it was already down to 49,000. So no, they're not going to cover. I mean, they might, future ones, but the notion that they wait 35 days is absurd. July 6th. Here's July 6th. 41,000 fails on that day. Then the next day, it was 32,000 were covered, and it's low. So, I mean, if people were, expecting that to happen, and look, the price went down all 3 days here. 6, 7, 8, price went down. So it's nonsense. It's irrelevant, essentially. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Makes no difference. Okay. So, all right. That guy kills me. I still can't get over that. They can't reasonably have a reasonable belief that they can cover that share, they can buy that security back. Yeah, they can. Why can't they? They did, in fact. They did, in fact. Shares are fungible. It's not the same share that you buy back. If I loan somebody $20, they're going to give me back a different $20 bill. That's fine. That's the way money and financial instruments work a lot of the time, unless it's very specific, like a deed to a house or something. But anyway, let's see what we got here.
It's not financial advice, it's not legal advice, for entertainment, educational purposes only. Anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff so you get the videos I put them out, see what I'm thinking, see them analyze that data. But like I tell y'all every day, the data released us is false. Man, the gifts are false.
The data released is false. But somehow we still want to see how he's analyzing that data. How you analyzing that data, Donnie?
Narrative amongst we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, by now, I believe a majority of you have seen.
Oh, that the data is false. So that
like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff so you get the videos I put them out, see what I'm thinking, see them analyze that data. But like I tell y'all every day, the data released us is false. Man, it gives a false narrative amongst we can make bad trading decisions.
A false narrative of the market so you can make bad trading decisions. No, that's just because you're an idiot. And you've done no research, no diligence. None.
Listen, by now, I believe a majority of you have seen Aron's interview where he gives his reasons why you should vote yes to his reverse split proposals. And then he goes into this I would call it tirade about how he wanted to issue new shares back in June of 2021. And we voted no, we didn't want it done. But because of that, or had we voted yes at that time, AMC would have been out of debt and the short sellers would have been in trouble and blah, 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 blah. First of all, AMC being in debt has nothing to do with the short sellers, okay? That debt thing is just a narrative that they push to justify the price going down. That's just a narrative that they push to justify the price going down. Almost every single company has debt, and some company has $100 million in debt. So that has nothing to do with the argument that these shorters make for shorting AMC stock. And when we pay off the debt, will that stop them from doing naked shorts? Will that stop them from spoofing? Will that stop them from moving a majority of trades into the dog pool to take away the buying pressure?
Okay. Covered. Okay. I mean, are we talking about short selling or are we talking about FTDs? I'm talking about FTDs. So, and then that, and that's not the same thing as short selling, naked or otherwise. When they say, really, I mean, the terminology that they use is close out. They have to, it's an obligation. It's an obligation to deliver shares, to provide shares to the buyer. That's what we're talking about. And again, that can happen for a number of reasons. If you buy something and then sell it the next day before it's settled, now you've introduced an exception to the system. That's an exception. And it may create an FTD. But in that case, it'll naturally be closed out when the original settlement goes through, you know, and all the accounts are settled in terms of, okay, this person had this, and then they, you know, but and we're not talking about short covering, which is the same as closing. This is some garbage that came from Reddit. Technically, most brokerage platforms, if you were going to close a trade, you're going to close a trade that's a short trade. It'll say buy to cover, buy to close. I think Fidelity says buy to close. I think you're covering your short position, you're closing your position, covering, closing, same thing, same exact thing. Whether somebody chooses to open a new short position, that's a new position. So, I mean, it is. It's a new position. Let's see. And let's see. AMC is a distressed company, and when the sharks smell blood in the water, they come to eat. I'll agree with that. However, and I'm not saying that this is the implication. Okay. So, but I'm gonna expound on that. And actually, your example is great because the sharks already smell blood in the water. So there's already blood in the water, meaning there's already a wound. There's already damage. There's already casualty. And then they find it. So, of course, sharks can also cause a casualty, but I mean, it's an analogy. So in a similar way, um, in a similar way, short sellers will come into a position in a stock that's attached to a company that is wounded, that is suffering a casualty, not the other way around. FTDs aren't created by retail and Fidelity. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. But I don't really feel like arguing, so I'm not going to. But let's see. Okay, go back. Now, when Model 3 Dude says it has everything to do with short selling, are you talking to? Are you reacting to Donnie, or I'm just trying to figure out the context of that because I've got a little delay here. So
These shorters make for short and AMC.
Okay, let me go back.
Every single company has debt.
That's true. Every company, well, not every company, but yeah, I mean, a lot of companies do. That's not necessarily a bad thing. He's right about that.
And some company has $100 million in debt. So that has nothing to do with the argument.
Well, I mean, but AMC has 5 billion in debt. So, I mean, 100 million is less than 5 billion.
That these shorters make for shorting AMC stock. $100 million in debt. So that has nothing to do with the argument that these shorters make for shorting AMC stock.
Well, I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I mean, he did not make any type of an argument here. I mean, okay, every company has debt, okay, but how does that debt relate to their equity? How does that debt relate to their sales? How does that debt fit in the context of that particular enterprise? That's what matters, not these ridiculously stupid comparisons of AMC has this amount of debt. Well, but Disney has the but Verizon, yeah, but I mean, those are profitable companies. Those are companies that are in no way at all in the same position as AMC or whoever, whatever company. So you can't just compare this like the actual like concrete um, number of debt. I mean, we were talking about this last night. What a ridiculous thing. Um, how I'm new, still learning. I can't sell a covered call and not deliver shares in the money. No, it doesn't come from that. I mean, I gave an example of if you buy a stock on Monday and then you sell it on if you buy a stock on Monday, that trade will settle on Wednesday. If you sell it on Tuesday before it's set, if you sell the stock, you just sell the position on Tuesday, you've sold before the settlement has finalized. So that's a situation where there's potentially a fail to deliver occurring because it's already the share is already in transit, so to speak, um, to you, and now you went ahead and sold it. So now you see what I'm saying? So that's that. Um, lost me. What? Uh-oh. Hello? Test 1, 2. Um, yes, like people comparing Volkswagen chart to AMC. It's ridiculous. Um, totally different situation. Absolutely. Another is you know, let's say that you have a share in your account, in your Fidelity account. Um, and it's a margin account, and so the share is being lent out for shorting, right? You've elected to do that. You want the revenue from it. So your share's on loan currently, okay? Then you decide to sell the position while it's being lent. Audio issues. Oh, great. I don't know what audio issues are happening here. Let me know if it continues. Can you be more specific on what is cutting out or static or overdriven or um but if you have a share that's being lent out and you decide to sell the position, the shares lent out, um, that may generate an FTD. Because either the broker has to recall that share from the borrower, or you have to, the broker would have to, you have to find a share basically. So that's another situation where a long sale can create an FTD. Never thought of day trading shares that are bought and sold same day before it's actually cleared. Makes sense. Well, I mean, and um, you know, there are other situations. I mean, you have to remember with as many people and market participants as there are, there's all kinds of situations that you, everyone has never thought of before. So, of course, these ape retards are not going to think about this because, you know, that would negate the argument. But you know, that's exactly why we're we're taking the time to do this, you know, to get people to think about different stuff. So, um, but at the end of the day, and here's the danger with all this. The danger with these clowns is they don't understand the basics. And they're sitting here talking about naked shorting and FTDs and all this crap, dark pools, off exchange, but they don't know how to buy low and sell high. They don't know the basics of being profitable. If you don't know the basics of being profitable and can do that somewhat regularly, if you're worried about FTDs and naked shorting and all this crap, profitable traders don't worry about that shit. I'm going to tell you right now, profitable traders don't think about this shit. It doesn't fucking matter what exchange, where, who, whatever, doesn't matter. There to make money. Buy low, sell high, buy low, whichever way. That's the name of the game. So it's no wonder that the apes are a bunch of, you know, 60, 70, 80% down gamblers because they they're focused on the wrong shit. It's like being a beginner guitar player or beginner drummer or a beginner whatever instrument and insisting that you have a Paul Reed Smith, insisting that you have a full Marshall stack, insisting that you have a $4,000 keyboard workstation, insisting that you have a 20-piece DW drum set. You're focused on the wrong things. You're never going to learn to be a good musician if you don't master basics. And you don't need a Paul Reed Smith to learn chords on a guitar. And I could say this because I was a music teacher for 15 years, but anyway, um, to me, it's the same thing. You get so many options. You get so many. Well, I mean, you get so much you can think about, like going to the grocery store and looking at the toothpaste aisle, and you have all these choices. And when Model 3 dude was growing up, I'm just using him because Lynn's not here. But if Lynn were here, I would say Lynn was growing up. You probably had 3 or 4 brands of toothpaste. And yeah, some of these brands are probably better than others now, but who knows which one to get? Or 401k plans for employers. Sometimes they give you so many choices, nobody knows what these are. So then people don't choose anything. And that's worse. So let me back out of this digression here. All right. Not to learn them, but for it to resonate nice, of course, of course. But like I said, I was a music teacher for 15 years, and also when I was in college, I worked at a music store, and I for like 3 years, and you know, so I was around a lot of this stuff and a lot, and you know, it 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 never it never didn't make me laugh a little bit inside when I would sell like a $2,000 keyboard workstation to somebody, and this is in like 2002 or 3, um, who, you know, I know because I heard them, I watched them, I worked with them for an hour in the store. I know they can't play anything. I know they have no clue how to use this. They come in and plunk down $2,500 like it's nothing. And I'm, the broke college student who has, 10-year-old equipment trying to, you know, make it work. But I mean, it's very true though. The the best musicians that I ever played with, that I ever knew, the pros, like the real like, you know, the local guys that everybody knows, everybody wants to play with, they didn't have the newest best shit. They had older beat up equipment and it sounded great. They made it sound great. So anyway, um I mean, you know, if you know what you're doing, and I'm not a guitar player at all, so you know, take this with a grain of salt, but you can make a Squire sound good. Anyway, um, hey, there's Lynn. She popped in. Okay, so I'll say it. There were how many brands of toothpaste existed when you were growing up, Lynn? I would say it's less than half a dozen. Less than half a dozen. Hey, Lynn's here. If you're retired, then you know that's an indication. But anyway, I got to get the call in phone line set up so that Model 3 dude can come in here with his voice. And okay, Bull Run 62. Are you 62 or were you born in 62? My father was born in 62, so he's old, I guess. Anyway, but I like what OJ said here. All this under the hood BS is AMC YouTube streamers' way of justifying their failed squeeze play. Boom, right there. Or it's unnecessary to know that to be a good trader, just like you don't need to know the timing ignition to drive a car, right? So that's I mean, I've thought about that kind of thing a lot, you know, like how much complicated shit we use on a daily basis that we don't understand, that most people don't understand, and how we rely on experts to help us with those things when there's a problem. And why aren't we demanding, you know, I mean, just like you develop a relationship with a mechanic, or a service person on any piece of equipment. Uh, oops. Well, what the hell did I just do? Well, shit. I made a gesture with on my trackpad accidentally, and that happened. Um, but you know, you're gonna vet that person. I think you're gonna ask, hey, who do you know
AMC.
a good mechanic? That type of thing. But now now people just trust anonymous people more or less on YouTube, and I get it. I get it. I'm an quote unquote anonymous person on YouTube. I mean, you know my name, but I mean, but my message is simple. It's not anything specific even. It's just question the shit. Demand evidence. I mean, if people have a problem with someone who doesn't have a camera uh on YouTube telling them that they should question things and make wise decisions, if that's a problem, then you've got I mean that those people have bigger problems than whatever, you know, they might learn here. It's pretty ridiculous. Um yeah, exactly, Lynn. You know, I had a feeling you might have been lurking and heard that. So anyway, I'm not sure where we're at here on this.
And when we pay off the debt, will that stop them from doing naked shorts? Well, every
Let's go.
single company has debt, and some company has.
Look at him. He's so proud of himself for thinking about that. What a ridiculous fucking. Oh my God.
$100 million in debt. So that has nothing to do with the argument that these shorters make for shorting AMC stock.
Oh,
And when we
okay.
pay off the debt, will that stop them from doing naked shorts? Will that stop them from spoofing?
Spoofing them. Okay. First of all, who are them? Who are they? Secondly, we've already been over the naked short thing. I mean, even if there are all these naked shorts, who's the one? Why aren't you calling out the brokers who fail to borrow the shares? I mean, it's just so ignorant, so ignorant.
Will that stop them from moving a majority of trades into the dog pool to take away the buying pressure?
Well, will it stop you from using payment for order flow brokerages? That's the real question. Who is the one who determines that? Well, you do by where you do business. Oh, so ignorant. Donahue George, quite possibly one of the dumbest. Oh, it's terrible. I mean, as you can hear.
That had nothing to do with the price movement of AMC.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
AMC. Criminality.
Oh my God.
Is why AMC moves the way it does. And then Aron says, well, you know, the reason AMC price has been going down because in 2022, the whole market was down. The whole market was running down, and that's why AMC was moving down. He refused to acknowledge the naked shorts. He refused to acknowledge the spoofing.
Well, if somebody refuses to acknowledge something that hasn't been proven, what's the problem? I mean, this is just so egregious at this point. Everybody assumes that there are all these naked shorts. There hasn't been one shred of evidence that's been presented. It's credible. Even the supposed market fairness guy here, not him, this guy, even he didn't have proof. He didn't even try. He just talked about some other bullshit and misrepresented the way that the market works and implied that shares are not fungible. No, shares are fungible. All they have to do is buy the stock, just like they were buying it to create a long position. And with 1.25 billion shares traded, I think that the volume was there. So frustrating. It's so frustrating. Like this, I mean, you replace this naked short thing with UFOs or Bigfoot. That's going to be my new stand-in for naked shorts. Bigfoot. Yes. Aron refused to acknowledge Bigfoot.
Refused to acknowledge the dog pool abuse.
Dark pool abuse. I wish somebody would dark pool abuse this guy. Holy shit.
I mean, if you're going to talk. Don't just say the things that.
Yeah, that's what you do, right? You just fucking talk out of your fucking ass. Like, if there ever were a poster child for ignorance and obvious grifting, nothing to add. There's nothing to add. He has nothing to add whatsoever. This guy's it. I mean, this is so terrible. If you really want to have a laugh, go read his lawsuits. This clown filed 2 or 3 lawsuits. Oh, they're such a laugh. All right.
That fits your narrative. And that's what he was doing. Well, that's my opinion of what he was doing. That is my opinion of what he was doing. He was saying things that...
Oh, okay. All right. Fit his narrative. Never mind the narrative here. That one is because that one's true. Well, my opinion is it's true. Wow. Okay.
That fit the narrative that he wants to sell to us. As far as...
What about the narrative that you're poorly trying to sell? God. I mean, honestly, how can somebody say this shit and not even... I mean, it's almost like he did have that thought after he said it.
He was saying things that fit the narrative that he wants to sell to us.
Right there.
He was saying things that fit the narrative that he wants to sell to us.
That's when he realizes that he is doing that exact thing, in my opinion. Yep. He's like, damn, that's what I'm doing. Fucking clown. Grifter.
As far as I'm
This
concerned,
guy belongs in fucking jail. They all do, actually. I mean, this guy has 15,000 subscribers. 15 fucking thousand subscribers. Follow this guy. Can you believe that? Wow.
I'm voting no. I'm not telling you how to vote. You need to vote your conscience.
Vote no, huh? Vote no. And watch AMC get delisted. Oh, God, I hope it's no. I hope the vote is no so bad. I've never wanted it. I've never been this excited about a corporate election, vote, a corporate issue as this vote. I want to see a no vote. I want to see a no vote so bad. That would screw everything up. Oh my God. AMC will end up getting delisted. This is my prediction. I mean, they all make predictions. I'll make one. AMC would end up getting delisted, and so would Ape, obviously. That would remove it from all ETFs. That would be catastrophic. You'd see the company close its doors by the end of the year. I know it's a little bit ambitious, but I mean, we need to wrap this thing up. It'd be a good Christmas present.
The DD that you do, the DD they say we don't do.
And by the way, I'm saying this for the sole reason that I'm sick of these guys. I'm sick of these guys putting out this nonsense on YouTube. And the whole point of this channel was to call these guys out and to raise awareness of how retarded they are. Like, in not the good way, like Wall Street Bets. With the ultimate goal of knocking them out of YouTube. I don't want these people making money. They should not be making money spewing this garbage. That to me is absurd. I don't, wherever the problem lies, I don't know really or care. The fact that these guys are doing this and making money on these fucking garbage videos is absurd, and I'm not jealous. I don't want YouTube revenue. I don't need it. It wouldn't be that much anyway. Because, the truth is like poetry. People fucking hate poetry. But anyway, yeah. Hell, I mean they could get restructured and come, bought by somebody else and get merged with another corporation and be under another ticker and whatever. So the theaters don't have to go away. I'm not saying that. But this particular stock play, this shit has run its course. It has run its course. And we haven't seen a single one of these meme stocks from 2020, 2021. We haven't seen a single one. And correct me if I'm wrong, any of the original meme stocks from 2021, let's even say, that came back after having the first initial impulsive move, the event, the squeeze, if you want to call it that, the June 2nd, the January 27th of their time for that stock. We haven't seen a single one that came back and went higher than that first move. I mean, if there is one, I do want to see it, so let me know. But I'm not aware of it. That had any stock that had one of these massive, amazing, impulsive moves that came back and hit all new all-time highs. I mean, that just doesn't happen for good reason because there's so many fucking bag holders. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I failed in my goal to have any impact on this, on these guys. Again, I don't care about AMC. I don't care about their investments. I don't care about anything having to do with this whole thing, except the misinformation that gets put out here. It's so absurd. It's absurd. Financial advisors have to be licensed and adhere to certain rules. Okay, that's good. Or you can just go on YouTube and say whatever the fuck you want, apparently. And like they're saying here, where is it? Look like you're recording from death row. I mean, yeah. You know what? That's why I don't have a camera on because it would be worse than death row. I'm just kidding. Anyway, but I failed. The best I did was I got Teddy Zane to curse me. He made a video about me cursing me. Scott fucking Allen. Scott fucking Allen. Tony DeNaro, some drama with him. Al called me a cum guzzler once. That was fun. He told me to go fuck my mother. So anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. What would be new about the apes working against their best interest? I mean, that's so true. But they could finally come together and do it on a massive scale. This is the apes' opportunity of a lifetime to vote no. I'm going to start putting out grifting videos. I have a couple other channels that are not developed at all. I haven't done anything with them, but I had ideas, so I just created the channel. One of them, at least one of them, is it's an experiment with the other side, and so and look, I'm being upfront about that. I'm not like Trey, where publicly, I'm saying buy, 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 and privately I'm sell, sell, sell. I'll tell you, I'm creating an AMC grifting channel. I'm going to put out videos intended to mislead and confuse these people, and more specifically, the influencers. I want my ridiculous catalysts and scenarios that I come up with, which I do. I just don't talk about them. Sometimes we do in Telegram. So join the Telegram chat. The link to that is in the description. But it's not like one of these influencer discords and shit. Like, no. And of course it's free and it's not a scam. These scammers on Telegram, I've actually never really had any problems, but I mean, obviously not with the channels, not big, but on Telegram, it's a good. I mean, I like the platform. I wish it had a couple things like, a little bit more like Discord, but they're adding a lot of features all the time. So, they probably do already have a lot of things, some things that I would like to see. But anyway, yeah, I want these influencers to be influenced by my ridiculous ideas and then hear them parrot them. That would be that would be like making it for me. That's the ultimate. That's the creme de la creme right there. That is the creme de la creme for me is Donahue George and making it and these things would be so ridiculous, so absurd, so I don't know, just total baloney with very specific signatures so that it would be very clear. It would be crystal clear. It would be unmistakable if they did pick it up. Oh man. If you don't see me for a week,
Sir, my opinion of what he was doing. He was saying things that fit the narrative that he wants to sell to us.
oh yeah,
As far as I'm concerned,
it's the look down with his eyes. That's what gives it away for me. Fucking clown.
No, I'm not telling you how to vote. You need to vote your conscience. Vote your deed.
Yeah, vote your conscience.
The deed they say we don't do.
Make sure that you really agonize over it too.
Tell me what you think about Adam Aron.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you think. Tell you what I think. All right. So the follow-up. Okay. Here's the follow-up to Donnie from Model 3 Dude.
This is not financial advice. It's not legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only. And anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make.
I won't stop it as much this time.
These videos. That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, so you get videos. I'll put them out.
Okay, 6 hours ago. I'm sorry, I already stopped it. 6 hours ago. This one's from 14 hours ago. Okay, so I guess he's wearing, you know, this dude will put out like 2 videos like back to back, and he's wearing a totally different outfit. It's hilarious.
Listen, I did a video this morning based on what Adam Aron said in that interview, and I didn't actually watch the interview. I just listened to it.
Okay.
And I just listened to the interview, but then
God, his lip smacking is so.
Did the
God,
video
it's
this
annoying.
morning. I listened to Al from Boston, so then I went back and looked at the video. I actually looked at the video, and I looked at his body language, and I have to agree with Al from Boston. Based on my law enforcement experience, based on my private investigation.
Wait, law what?
Body language, and I have to look at the.
Oh, hold on.
I actually looked at the video, and I looked at his body language, and
great. Oh, great. Now he's an expert in body language. Look at that face. Now he's an expert in reading body language. Are you kidding me? I mean, it makes sense. It makes total sense that he would say something like this shit. Oh my God. All right.
Agree with the video. I actually looked at the video, and I looked at his body language, and I have to agree with Al from Boston. Based on my law enforcement experience, based on my private investigation.
Law enforcement experience. Oh, okay.
Experience based on my law degree experience.
Law degree experience. No, you do not have a law degree. You have a degree. You might have a degree in criminal justice. That's not the same thing as law. Stop saying that you have a law degree. And I wouldn't say this. You know me, but you should know me by now. I know that some people do. If you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, 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 ever know me. I've looked into this guy. I've looked into him. He doesn't have a law degree. No. I think it's criminal justice. That's not the same. Not the same. That's very misleading. Nobody thinks that this guy has a law degree. Everybody knows that he doesn't have a law degree. Nope. Nobody is that fucking dumb. Are they? Are they? Wow. But I mean, obviously that's why he says it that way. What a fucking grifters.
I come to the same conclusion as Al from Boston.
Oh, from Boston, huh? Are you from Boston now?
Al from Boston. Based on my law enforcement experience, based on my private investigation experience, based on my law degree experience, I come to the same conclusion as Al from Boston. His body language was deceptive.
Thanks.
It was.
Thanks, Model 3 Dude. I didn't know actually who sang that song. I know the song. I have for a long time, but thank you. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
And he tried to kind of control the conversation and change.
Tony, bring in the truth here.
Everybody knows that Mr. Later is really a conflict of interest. His daughter is with Uniswap, and you know the 8 quadrillion AMC tokens that more than likely the bad actors were using as false locates to keep manipulating the price of AMC. The bottom line is this. I don't believe, and this is just my opinion, I'm not telling you to buy, hold, or sell. You need to do your own DD and form your own opinion. But I don't believe Aron is being fully transparent on Philip
Okay,
role
sure.
with Morgan Stanley, Uniswap, and Tara, and AMC. I believe that it's a conflict of interest, and I believe it's not the best thing for retail investors. It's not the best thing for retail investors. And once again, I'm not telling you to buy.
That's too bad.
Hold or sell. I'm not telling you to vote yes. I'm not telling you to vote no. You have to do your DD and come to your own conclusion.
Yeah, do your own DD.
Al from Boston said that his body language appeared deceptive, and it seems like he wasn't telling.
Well, considering that we can't see Al from Boston's body language, and I know I can hear it right now. Scott, we can't see your body language either. Yeah, and I think that's better. I think that's better. Because, I mean, the reality is it's not accurate. There's not a lot of clear science, like conclusive peer-reviewed science, like there are for a lot of other things. And we're talking about this guy supposedly interpreting it. I mean, yeah, he doesn't sound like he has a single degree, ghetto degrees from the streets. So if Al said it, exactly. I agree with Al from Boston. Jesus
What I'm
Christ.
telling you is this. Al from Boston said that his body language appeared deceptive, and it seems like he wasn't telling the whole truth.
I mean, imagine that. The guy here with the law degree experience, with what do you say, private security or some shit? I don't know. All of his worldly experience, who's pumping AMC with the dumbest, speculative, unproven points. They're not even points. They're just it's verbal diarrhea. And he's saying that Adam Aron is being deceptive. I mean, what the fuck am I missing here? Are you serious? Are you fucking kidding me? What in the actual fuck is happening? Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh my God. Wow.
And
wow.
I agree with Al from Boston based on my experience as a Marine chaser, based on my...
As a Marine now. Now you're a Marine. Everybody's a fucking Marine now. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, no. Bald guy was Air Force.
An officer based on my experience.
The other bald guy. The white bald guy.
Based on my experience as a licensed private investigator, based on my experience as a financial fraud investigator. I have to agree.
Financial fraud investigator who knows nothing about finance and is a fraud. Yeah, that's about as close as he gets. He knows nothing about finance and he's a fraud. This guy belongs in fucking jail. This guy belongs in fucking Guantanamo with Thomas James, Ebony and Ivory right there. Together again.
Response to the question was deceptive. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think that...
Oh, God. I thought that would never end. I kept pausing it, though. Anyway, look, here's... Well, okay, so it's not just Donnie.
Alrighty, let me go now, get a cup of coffee, see if I shoot a video, but...
Who's he talking to?
People are talking to me about, Al just did a video out from Boston. What's up, Al? On how close Morgan is to everything. Best way I could describe it is this way.
Great, another guy who has no clue and just talks out of his ass and everybody believes him. Amazing. I don't know if they still do. We're going to look at the damn comments here.
Yeah, that guy.
Get the hell out of here.
That specific person tied to the other people. Listen, I guess I'm going to make it easy for everybody. Remember, I'm the guy that went inside of Morgan trying to find a direct-to-exchange broker, only to find out later on I walked into the belly of the beast. Neither here nor there, which is funny because people are like, you work for Morgan. Yeah, okay. Anyway, look, you can look at all the connections they have from the wallet, from the coins. I mean, you name it. Strange folk. All right. But here's the thing about it. Yeah, I'll take it even a step further. Remember Apex? Who backs up Apex?
What did he say? I didn't get any of that. I have no idea.
Remember, I'm the guy that went inside of Morgan trying to find a direct exchange broker, only to find out later on I walked into the belly of the beast. Neither here nor there, which is funny because people are like, you work for Morgan. Yeah, okay. Anyway, look, you can look at all the connections they have from the wallet, from the coins. I mean, you name it. Strange folk.
It never ends. There's always a new line of bullshit. And this isn't even a new line. I don't think. I'm gonna have to watch the fucking Alpha. I linked in Telegram. I sent the link to the group for Al's video when I was on my way home, as I was heading home from work. But I didn't watch it because I wanted to save it for this moment after three minutes from now, probably more like 30, the way I stop it.
But here's the thing about it. Yeah, I'll take it even a step further. Remember Apex? Who backs up Apex as custodian when the liquidity issue happened? Morgan. Look, people need to understand that AMC was a setup. AMC was a trap. AMC still continues to be all this. I'm not looking at...
No, but wait a minute.
Corruption.
He's going to say AMC's a trap. It still is. Okay. But what? There's a but coming. There's got to be a but. If I know Lou. I
never was.
Because not about changing the market.
AMC still continues to be all this. I'm not looking to stop the corruption.
So it's a trap designed to catch all these altruistic apes who want to change the market and make it more fair. That actually is not a bad thesis. And I've long said that I think that there are a lot of entities that are, interested in perpetuating this. As the apes sit there thinking, when are the shorts going to cover? Oh my God. They're losing, they're hurting. They have to cover their position soon. Surely, I mean, otherwise they'll, and we know that's bullshit. So the actual narrative could be, or the actual, I doubt that the people that I doubt that Wall Street wants this to end. Why would they want it to end? This is a fucking cash cow. This whole meme bullshit movement generation, summer of 3. God help us if it's 3. 2 summers of irrational exuberance. I mean, I think ortex clearly. If there is ever a product that overpromised and underdelivered and ended up being absolutely useless, ortex takes the cake on that. As far as market data goes, what a joke. I think Peter over there at ortex, I think Peter's in on this too, because he's a Wall Street insider. Absolutely. I've looked into him too. The whole thing probably is a big fucking ruse. And the apes are gullible because they were so, I don't know what they were so. They were so whatever. It doesn't even matter what they were. They showed themselves to be gullible over and over and over, eating up any catalyst that's so nonsensical that we can't even take it seriously. These guys are literally hinging on it as being the next thing that's going to happen before they get rich. They get $1 million per share, generational wealth. You've got to be fucking kidding me. And this is why I love the quote so much, that I'm obsessed about it, and I show it and say it all the time by somebody who even has a connection to the apes, in that he created the on balance volume indicator that they love to misinterpret to mean something else. If it's obvious, it's obviously wrong. And yesterday we heard Casey Shaw on a clip say the data's there. It's obvious. Like, in such a condescending, shitty way. And it just made me track up and thank the Lord that I happened to hear that and clipped it out and was going to roast him on that. Because, I mean, if it's obvious, meaning if everybody thinks it's going to happen, what does the market tend to do? Yeah, they're going to make all of the apes generationally rich. The whole thing is stupid to the very core. And as time goes on, it becomes even stupider as you realize all of this, I think. After 2 years of talking about how stupid it is, it never it never disappoints. It never disappoints. That's a fact.
I never was, because that's too big of a corruption. My thing is, I was trying to see if I could help navigate people to make the decision on whether to stay in it or not in order to get their money. We got close 3 specific times. Just recently, right now, AMC, not Ape, was on the verge of bubbling up. You know what happened. It's okay, we still got some time. But understand something. I am not in this to stop corruption. I'm not gonna go protest. I'm not gonna do any of those things. You know why? Because when you live long enough and you've seen a lot of things like I have, you understand that you can't fix it. You can't. Let me tell you something. 1929, take a look at who the people were behind that. Has anything changed? So, all I'm gonna say for now, if you're in this play, or any one of the meme stop, they were all traps. We got them good. We fought them back and forth. But they fought back. Right now, if you could walk away with either what you put in or more, yo, it's not a bad thing. You're never gonna fix it. You can't. It's like trying to fix government.
Is this Lou trying to...
You're not gonna do it.
Yeah, he's definitely a little winded.
And by the time we get the answers to things, none of this will matter. I'll just put it like this.
Wow.
2008. When they were moving all those swaps all over the place, offloading them.
Oh.
Think about that.
Yeah, he lived in his parents' garage. Yep.
To countries that collapsed.
My parents loved that show.
Nobody was accountable for that. So,
which is absolutely ridiculous. So I've seen it as a kid. And
that's not gonna happen. Make your money, be safe, and that's it.
I feel like if I show a clip from that, YouTube won't like it, but...
Stop this corruption. I'm not even saying what Morgan's doing is corruption or anybody else.
So what did we get from this?
But if you could make money on this or make your money back...
Oh, okay. So you're not going to stop the AMC corruption or any corruption in the stock market, which I've been saying for 2 years. And getting your initial investment back is not a bad thing. I mean, and I don't know why anybody would think that that's a bad thing. I guess because people are like, I'm still not selling. I'll never sell, which is, I don't know. That's okay. You'll never sell. Sure. Well, you probably won't have an opportunity to if they vote no, which I am so hoping for. Look for some strong vote no propaganda coming out in the next couple weeks. It's 1 month almost exactly to when it happens, right? March 14th. It's the 13th. Tomorrow's the 14th. Okay, yeah. The next month is going to be. Oh, I'm going to flood it. I'm going to flood the market with. And I got Chat GPT on my side too. So I mean, hell, that's what these guys. I mean, if these guys use that, it would be better. It would be better because the amount of prediction that Chat GPT can do in the stock market, which is zero, is exactly what they can do. But its uh, content is more interesting. It's better written. It's factual usually. YouTube notifications work tonight, so YouTube must have fixed their upgrade. Or I don't know. Did your phone update or something? Maybe maybe you're to blame for it. Okay, all right. Now this is gonna suck, but I'm not gonna be able to stop it as much as I want to. So I'll just have to talk over it from time to time. But this seems to be the hot shit right now. This seems to be the hot shit right now. Al from Boston. Fuck. Comments are turned off because I would have been all over these comments. I don't leave too many comments anymore. I used to leave more. In fact, it's how I initially was trying to grow my channel from having 11 subscribers, of which Lynn and some of these guys in here, Lynn, particularly Railvin, was one of the first ones. But what can you do? Go to somebody else's stuff that's spewing some nonsense and drop um a little nugget of truth that explains something that they don't understand, they're confused about, and whoever Roach Capital or whoever the fuck the video is from did not address or perpetuated a myth or a fraud, and say, this is what I'm trying to do. I think it worked somewhat.
It's off in Boston. I'm going to be really calm about this, and I'm not going to lose my mind, and I'm not going to yell and scream.
Good, because I probably will.
Answers. That's all I care about at this point. I just want some answers. This right here is from.
Well, I mean, he couldn't figure out why AMC would have done any of the stuff with Antera. He didn't understand it. He couldn't figure it out. He couldn't understand why Adam Aron would possibly want to do all this. So he just wants answers. I just want some answers. I mean, yeah, those answers, that ship has sailed. Those answers, the seeds to those answers were probably planted 25 years ago. You made the wrong choices if you want to understand this. I mean, shit. Like, you're probably not going to, based on everything about this guy. I mean, he probably does, but this is the picture. Remember, this is the narrative. Donnie George said it. This is the narrative that he believes and that Al from Boston believes. All right, enough.
Corporate doctrine that we have at AMC. Take a look at this. This is the section on conflict of interest. Conflict of interest may exist when a situation resulting from personal activities or financial affairs may have adversely influenced your judgment, the performance of your duties. You should not engage in any conduct that is disloyal, competitive, or damaging to the company.
Where's this from?
That means the stock as well. I want to continue on, talk to you with the next paragraph.
What is this from again? I don't like when somebody drops in a document that starts on Roman numeral 2 and I don't have the title to the document. See, like we're less than a minute into this video, and and already we are heavily steeped in bullshit. Heavily. We're dropped into Roman numeral 2 of some document that is not titled on the document. It's not titled on Twitter. He hasn't told us. Does he have the link to the tweet? No. Is it this? Is it this? No, it's not that. No, it's not that. So what the fuck is this shit? What in the fuck? This is garbage, is what it is. I mean, there's really no point in watching the next 9 fucking minutes. But I want to know what everybody else is being influenced by. So, all right.
Right here.
Jesus.
Examples or possible conflict of interest are when you have financial or other interest in or seek personal loans or services from other companies that does business with, or when you conduct business on your behalf with family members.
Can't even fucking read. Examples or possible conflicts of interest. So this is a well-written document too, unless that says of and it's marked out. Examples of, okay, probably. Possible conflicts of interest are when you have a financial or other interest in or seek personal loans or services from another company that does business with us, or when you conduct business on behalf. This does not sound like an actual document. Examples or possible conflicts of interest are when you have a financial or other interest in or seek personal loans or services from another company that does business with us, or when you conduct business on our behalf with family members. Okay. I need to see this document. What is this document? Manuel, are you here? I'm gonna look for it. But this is some bullshit, in my opinion. Seems like bullshit. I don't like the way this is written at all. If it's not bullshit, it's not well written.
With family members in general, conflict of interest may arise when you have interests that may make it difficult to perform your work for us objectively and effectively. In dealing with current or potentially customers, film distributors, suppliers, contractors, competitors, you should act in your
film distributors. Maybe it is actually
personal advantage.
Wow.
That takes a high level of personal accountability to do that. A person that has unspeakable morals. Right?
Yeah, like you would know anything about that fucking
that
clown.
Being said, I would like to know why we are doing business, right, with Antara.
Is it actually from the AMC Code of Ethics? I mean, is that something? How did he get this document? Is it publicly available? How does he have it? I mean, I know it's a tweet. How did this person get it? Who's that person? Where did it come from? When was it last revised? AMC Institute, ACM Code of Ethics. That's different. It's not the same thing. AMC Institute, Code of Ethics. This is what I found. AMC Institute. What is the AMC Institute? Association Management Companies? Jesus. This is not it. It sounds like ethics training for a bank. Like, I really need to find this. I mean, well, I know how to find it. Shit. Maybe I don't know how to find it. I think we already watched that one, Manny. That second Donnie George might have been before you are here or something. I'm gonna keep looking at about this.
I'm going to
Looking
get to my
this here.
thesis first. I want to talk to you about this other thing and then let you put it all together, let you piece it all together. Okay. We'll get to that in here in a minute. We know that Mary Catherine is the CEO of Uniswap, or COO rather. We know her father.
No, it wasn't. Whatever I showed was not actually it. I haven't found it yet. I have not found it. The only code of conduct that I found so far is the AMC Theater's policies. This is a welcoming, safe space for everyone. Dangerous, disruptive, yada, yada, yada. Outside food and drinks are not allowed. Yeah, right. In support of federal law, camera use is not permitted in our auditoriums. That's also, people do that all the time. Please be prepared to show ID. When has that ever happened? Corporate information. God, this website's terrible too. Investor relations, media center, corporate information. That's what I've wanted. Oh my God. Diversity. There it is. Wow. All right. I mean, it sure sure seems like a boilerplate to me. And I have never. I mean, and maybe I'm just you know, not that experienced, but I mean, the way this is written, it seems chintzy as fuck to me. But that's just like my opinion. All right. So let's. All right. So the point there is you're supposed to avoid conflicts of interest. I mean, who the fuck doesn't know that anyway? All right.
We know that.
I'm gonna.
Right.
Oh, we know. Don't you love when they start with "we know"? We know that, and then insert straw man argument here. I guarantee it.
Without Tara. I'm going to get to my thesis first. I want to talk to you about this other thing and then let you put it all together, let you piece it all together.
Oh, great. Okay, what does it have to do with Antara? Antara.
Unspeakable morals. Unspeakable, right? That being said, I would like to know.
Unspeakable morals? What do you mean by unspeakable? I don't even know what he's trying to say.
A personal advantage. That takes a high level of personal accountability to do that. A person that has unspeakable morals. Unspeakable, right? That being said, I would like to know why we are doing business, right, with Antara. I'm going
Antara.
to get to my thesis first. I want to talk to you about this other thing and then let you put it all together, let you piece it all together. Okay. We'll get to that in here.
All right. All right.
We know that Mary Catherine
we know that
is the CEO of Uniswap, or COO rather. We know her father is Philip Ladder. Okay. Philip Ladder is the current senior advisor to the Morgan Stanley Institutional Securities. Now, what does that mean? It's very simple, you guys. He's the guy in charge over Morgan. He works out of New York, right? And he also oversees AMC. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Now, like a million fucking false statements were questionable, at least a minute here.
Now, what does that mean? It's very simple.
Okay, what is he?
CEO of Uniswap, or
okay, COO. So used to saying CEO, he automatically said CEO, but of course it's COO. Bucket. In the interest of research.
COO rather. We know her father is Philip Ladder. Okay. Philip Ladder is the current senior advisor to the Morgan Stanley Institutional Securities. Now, what does that mean? It's very simple, you guys. He's the guy in charge over Morgan. He works out of New York, right? And he also oversees AMC. Okay. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, when it comes to institutional sales for Morgan Stanley, as lenders and as buy side and sell side, he's in charge of it. Okay. And he's also worked for the federal government, which makes him completely distrustworthy, in my opinion, and especially is that he was a foreign ambassador. Okay. I know about these things because I've worked in the military. I know what these people do.
Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. I worked. Okay. This is terrible. I mean, and all of his shit's terrible. It's all terrible. But I mean, I'm pointing out how this is terrible. He's read a few facts from this bio, and then he said, oh, and he works for the government, which makes him completely untrustworthy, in my opinion, because I know about these things. Yeah, because your audience is a bunch of dumbass conspiracy theorists who believe shit with no proof. They don't even ask for it. You don't even have to try. You just say it. They believe you. Wow. That is unspeakable fucking morals right there. Fuck you, Al. Jesus fucking Christ.
And that
what
means
a joke.
Not limited to lying and doing whatever unscrupulous things that people are asked to do. Okay. That being said, I want to have an answer from Adam Aron. Okay. And maybe I'm just being crazy here. This is 8 quadrillion AMC tokens, right? They were used to.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I knew that this was because why would he mention Uniswap if he wasn't going to bring up that goddamn fucking NFT, whatever fucking blockchain bullshit? Oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ. Wow. Oh God. See, yeah, it's nothing new. In fact, this connection was mentioned when the whole thing came out. It was mentioned when the whole fucking thing happened initially with the supposed tokenized securities, stocks, shares, whatever, that are not, they have nothing to do with AMC. Nothing to do with AMC. Anybody can create any token they want. This is not new. And it's not anything. It's nothing. Also, I mean, he's on etherscan.io. He's not even on Uniswap. So what is the point here? Oh, 8 quadrillion, right? Of course, 8 quadrillion. Total liquidity $11.04 fucking cents. Yeah, great.
In trade to destroy the shareholder value of AMC. Okay. That being said, I want to have an answer from Adam Aron. Okay. And maybe I'm just being crazy.
Retarded.
Here. This is 8 quadrillion AMC tokens, right? They were used to trade in trade to destroy the shareholder value of AMC on the New York Stock Exchange. They were done on the blockchain, and it was facilitated by Uniswap. Okay.
There's no proof of any of that. That's all garbage. Complete nonsense. Fraud. Al from Boston is a fraud. I want an answer from YouTube as to why this fuck is still on here doing this day after day after fucking day. Are you kidding me? I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed. What the fuck? This is garbage. It's completely nonsensical. Like, I know it all is. It all is, but like this is particularly bad. Oh my God.
Which the COO, right, is the daughter of the director of. That's the first thing that stinks to high heaven to me. Okay, that really stinks. We've already talked about that. Mr. Aron
yes, he was.
Video and said, no. Well, we made a video rather, and I played it earlier. It's right here, and I'll put it on so you guys can listen.
Let you finish the question. Totally disagree. It's such a crime that he's conflicted. Didn't explain why. Because first of all, his daughter's not involved in the governance.
Oh, I can't even hear this.
You guys can listen.
Let you finish the question. Totally disagree. It's such a crime that he's conflicted.
Yeah, we can listen if I add fucking what? 20 decibels of fucking gain over here because you don't know how to fucking route an audio signal. Fucking amateur. What a clown. These guys suck. They suck.
I played it earlier. It's right here, and I'll put it on so you guys can listen.
Let you finish the question. Totally disagree. It's such a crime that he's conflicted. Didn't explain why. Because first of all, his daughter's not involved in the governance of AMC.
That's right. She's not involved in the governance of AMC, but she isn't involved in the trading of its stock. Okay. Now, why is that such a big deal, you ask? It's a big deal because this is the market manipulation that we've all been talking about. In fact, you guys, let me show you how bad it is.
This has to stop. This fucking has to stop. This is so absurd. How in the fuck is this on here day after day? What? I'm at a loss for fucking words. That doesn't happen too often, but I don't even know what to say.
If you trace this back, you'll find it belongs to Uniswap. And, the fact that all three, both Philip Ladder, Adam Aron, and Mary Catherine Ladder, are all members of the Foreign Council of Relations, is also a huge, like, they know each other. They're all in the same social groups. They're in the same networks. They're a part of the same umbrella of who they are in society. Okay. Now,
wow, eloquent.
The latest
Al, clearly you're not part of that umbrella.
Okay, I want you to take a look at this.
Why does he say it like that?
With the latest with Antara. Okay, I want you to take a look at this.
Antara,
right? These guys are distressed.
Zoom info
lenders, basically.
Zoom info. Let's go to Zoom info and look up Antara.
And one of the things I noticed is that Morgan Stanley is.
But now we're on something else. What is this now? What is this still? Zoom info or what? Where are we at here? Many people have been burned by frauds and that's an ad. He's an idiot. He oh my God.
Is their prime broker.
All right, sorry.
Asset lenders, basically. And one of the things I noticed is that Morgan Stanley is their prime broker.
Oh my God.
Mr. Aron, is there any particular reason why you failed to disclose the fact that you have a a lead director who works for Morgan Stanley? You have Antara Capital, who just raped and pillaged the company for an egregious amount of dollars, whose prime broker is Morgan Stanley. And there's bits and pieces of Antara with Morgan Stanley all over the internet.
Capital wow, look at that.
Investment management. They're everywhere. Why is it?
They're everywhere in the search results. Wow, that's all you have to do is Google 2 words, 2 terms together, and that counts as fucking evidence? Oh my God. This tonight, this just entered a new realm for me. This motherfucker has got to go. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Al from Boston needs to be kicked off YouTube, and all of his content needs to be erased forever, except for what I've shown on my channel. That'll stay for posterity to know how fucking retarded he was and how retarded he thought that retail investors were. And maybe they are. Some of them clearly are. Like Donahue George, who agrees with him. We haven't even gotten to the body language part yet. Oh my God.
That we should believe in the custodian.
And he's telling people to vote no, though, which is what I want people to do. And so, for personal reasons, it has nothing to do with anything. And it's like, I don't know. It just could very well have been a coin flip, as for which. But anyway, vote no so that AMC can be delisted. That's my message. What? So Al and I are no.
The custodian. It's none other than Morgan Stanley. Okay, fund details. I mean, and now
so they
know for a fact that SIG and all the short sellers, they use Morgan Stanley as well. Okay,
all the short sellers, they all use Morgan Stanley. So then, if they all use Morgan Stanley, then Al, if they all use Morgan Stanley, and they're all naked shorting AMC, and we said earlier, we learned earlier, we highlighted earlier. Some people may have learned. That's what I hope, I guess. That it's the brokers who locate the shares for shorting. So if you know who's naked shorting and you know who their broker is, what the fuck are you doing? Talking about fucking FTX and Uniswap and fucking quadrillions of worthless tokens that have nothing to do with AMC. You know who's naked shorting. You found the entity that's naked shorting AMC. Why are you sitting here with this bullshit? No, you don't know anything. You have nothing. This is nothing. Nothing. Monetization. On. Why would you show this? Why would you show this? It's not like he's making any money, though, really. He's getting a few thousand views on these videos. It's not really that much. It's more than I get, of course. But it's not that much. You don't make much money off of that. But yes, monetization is on because, he has to pay the bills. He's got to go.
Okay, let's count this for a sec. We've got Morgan Stanley over here with Philip Ladder, right? We got 4 right there. We have him. We have Morgan Stanley with Antara Capital. That's 2. And we have them with Citadel Securities.
Oh, of course.
Morgan.
3 places. 3 places.
Coincidence? Is that just mere luck?
Am
I to believe that?
Oh my God.
I mean, you said that there's no conflict.
You said Al from fuck. God damn it.
There is a big conflict, right? This is the company that was used, right? That was used to destroy shareholder value on the blockchain. Okay?
No! There's no evidence of that. How did a blockchain affect a goddamn fucking stock on the New York Stock Exchange? In order to claim that, you have to explain that. You have to show evidence. You can't just show some fucking screenshots from Twitter and say that it proves it. And then base all of these other dumbass assumptions on that. You can't do that. You cannot do that. That is not acceptable. And this clown is going to keep doing that. But anybody who doesn't question this is fucked. If not from this, from something else. Because if you're not questioning this, If this does not raise any red flags, if this doesn't smell like total bullshit, I mean, this is objective. I'm being objective here. It's not an opinion. This is not my opinion that this is nonsense. This is nonsense, and it's not shown with any trail of any evidence whatsoever. So if people are believing this, and clearly some idiots like Donahue George are, holy shit. It doesn't matter which way the vote goes. It doesn't matter what happens with AMC or if they sell or not. They're going to fucking lose it all. Because that is some fucking dumb ass logic. Holy shit.
Stanley and Philip Ladder. Was there any communication between you, Adam Aron, and Goldman Sachs or the other funds? I want to know that. I really want to know if there was.
Well, you're not going to find out. It's none of your fucking business.
Where they
you have no proof of anything.
Aron, right? I want to know that. Did anyone from the SEC reach out to you? I want to know these things. Okay, and I want an answer to these things. I think these are important.
You think you're entitled to these?
Let me tell you something.
Know these things.
This whole thing reeks to high heaven. It reeks. It reeks to high heaven. The fact
I couldn't agree more.
Is not only our contraparty, Morgan Stanley is the lender for Antara Capital. That their senior director sits on the board. I mean, these things.
I mean, this clown doesn't know. I mean, this is the problem. I mean, there's so many problems here. This is so bad. This is why I don't watch these videos by Al from Boston, because they're so fucking terrible. It's unbelievable. Either he's this dumb or he thinks people are this dumb, but this shit is fucking dumb. This is some dumbass shit. This is absolutely horrible. I mean, it's insulting. This is so insulting to people. I can't even express how fucking insulting this shit is. And if people believe it, then it's also insulting to everybody else, because those people should not be driving around on the same fucking roads as everybody else. If this is okay, if this passes as information, oh my God. Oh my God.
I mean, I understand a lot of people may not.
So Morgan Stanley is a financial services institution. Sort of like other financial institutions like JP Morgan or Citadel Securities. I mean, at much smaller scale. But other large banks, they do a lot of different things. They have a lot of different divisions, and most of them are actually separate corporations too. So they have so many subsidiaries and arms and, different, areas of the corporation. It may not even be part of the actual main corporation. So you saying that, you have a lender. Okay. Whoever's doing lending, probably not the same people that are dealing with the stock market. I mean, generally that's how that goes. That's how it is at JP Morgan and Citigroup. I don't even know which one's the parent on that. Like Citigroup, they're a bank. Like, these are massive financial institutions. There's only a few of them. It's not like there's unlimited choices here, like toothpaste in the 60s. I'll go back to the 60s. Probably two. Goldman Sachs, you start looking at BlackRock, a little bit different, but still. You start looking for these connections, you'll see it everywhere. I mean, and I'm not even saying that it's not a problem, like in general, there's so much consolidation and cross-pollination. If you look at a chart of board members for major corporations, there's so many people that are on multiple boards. Again, same thing with FTDs. Same thing with naked shorts and all this garbage. Why are you focused on this? This is a distraction, plain and simple. Plain and fucking simple. And it's propaganda to get people to vote no. Which, all joking aside, I would love to see no vote go through, because I think It'll be, you know, another example of the apes sabotaging themselves. But at the end of the day, though, it doesn't seem right that somebody who is unqualified providing false, I'm false and fraudulent information, as a result of an intentional grift or an unknowing negligence. I don't know. I think it's probably both in a lot of the cases, but something does not sit right with me about somebody doing those things. False information, fraudulent information, and trying to influence people as far as which way they should vote in a corporate issue, corporate election, or corporate shareholder vote. That does not seem right at all. I mean, influencing people to buy stocks or whatever, that also doesn't seem right to me. But this seems particularly bad. Donahue George and others always tag the SEC and the DOJ and stuff in their tweets. SEC, DOJ, CFTC, any comment on this? I wonder if they would have any comment on this. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter, of course, because that's a retarded thing to do. Comment below. Tell me, guys, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about Al from Boston influencing people to vote no for the reverse split for AMC stock.
May not agree with some of my
Donahue George out.
My points, but this is not a coincidence. I mean, you can hate me, you cannot wish away, you cannot argue away. You can my points.
What did he say?
This is not a coincidence. I mean, you can hate me, but you cannot wish away, you cannot argue away, you cannot, imagine away the fact that Morgan Stanley is overrepresented, right? To the point where,
I can hate you and I can argue, dude, there's a reason why he does not have comments enabled on his videos. Let me say that. There's a reason, Al, why you do not have comments enabled on your video. You can't even accept fucking comments, much less have a debate. Oh, I would fucking smoke your ass. It would be fucking absurd. You wouldn't stand a fucking chance. You wouldn't last 10 minutes. You'd be running out just like Boss Blunts with Matt Coles. I mean, give me a fucking break. First of all, Morgan Stanley's overrepresented, huh? So you have examples of other corporations, and you can show diversity in financial institutions that are dealt with by not only the corporation itself, I mean, not only AMC, but also debt holders, board members, children of board members. You've done all that. You can compare it to another corporation and show how AMC, and by the way, you got to look at all the bondholders too. You got to look at all the bondholders. Because we're talking about one fucking person here. I mean, to make connections between all those things and to put them into a grander conspiracy is another whole unsubstantiated piece of trash. So this clown would not last 30 seconds. I mean, it would never happen. I mean, the best he could do is call me a cum guzzler, for Christ's sake. I mean, look at this shit. You can hate me, but you cannot wish or argue. You cannot argue away. You cannot, imagine a way to where Morgan
Stanley is
overrepresented.
Right? To the point.
Right. Whenever he says a grift, he says right after it. Why is that? I don't know.
Where their names are everywhere. Counterparty. Now they're working inside. They're working with Antara. They're everywhere.
Antara.
Guys.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
Am I crazy for pointing this out?
No, you're just a fucking moron. You think that everybody else is this fucking stupid. and some of them are, and they're fucked. But I'm telling you right now, this is the most retarded shit I have ever heard from this guy. And if people believe this and they don't fucking question it and they go along with this loose, flimsy ass fucking bullshit, every one of these pieces of information is flawed. It's not anywhere close to what he says it is. Yeah, so you are crazy for thinking that people are this fucking dumb. I'm gonna go on record say there has to be. This is so bad that there have to be more people who speak out about it, and that's why, really, why you can't leave a comment on it, because somebody like me would come on there, or somebody like Tony Tenko and Model 3 Dude and Manuel and Lynn and all, everybody in this chat who comes here regularly, everybody, who gets it, they would rip him a new asshole wider than the Mississippi, and it would be the end. He might still do it. He might still do it. He probably would. But there would be so much, it would be unavoidable. He would not be able to function. This is so bad. Oh my God. All right. I'm not going to stop it till the end.
The fact that he's working, his daughter works, and it's like the textbook definition. Like, look at this, right? Examples of possible conflicts of interest are when you have a financial or interest in or seek personal.
It is or wow.
From another company that does business with us, or you conduct business on behalf with your family members. This is just insane. And look how quick he was last time to quote this. And then the video that we saw earlier today. Let's take a look at that video once again.
What is the personal connection with Adam Aron? How is it personal?
Totally. I don't let you finish the question. Totally disagree. It's such a crock.
Is it a crock, though? We kind of called you out on it. How much of a crock can it be that Morgan's behind every play? How much of a conflict is that? It's not a conflict, sir. It's not a conflict. The simple truth is, inside of AMC is this man who is working behind the scenes. There's no other way to. You tell me. You tell me.
No.
How do you frame this? How else do you?
You don't frame it because you don't know.
1 second, you guys.
You don't frame it because you don't know.
Tell me, Morgan Stanley.
You don't make shit up. And no, I'm not watching a fucking movie clip. That's how you fucking close, with a goddamn movie clip. Wow, what a fucking moron. Fuck you, Al from Boston. You're fucking going down, you piece of fucking shit. You fucking grifting asshole. You motherfucker. What a piece of fucking garbage. Oh my God. Fuck me. Wow. I'm glad that he stayed calm. I'm glad that he stayed calm, because holy shit. If he were yelling and I was yelling, this wouldn't be fun. It's probably not fun as it is. So I'm sorry, but this is it's. I want to play the full song, but I also don't want this video to get screwed up, which is another reason why I'm not playing a movie clip. You got to be kidding me. This. My God. Oh my God. And there's a reason, and Lynn's right. Lynn is 100% right. There's a reason why this is the case right here. There's a reason why. There he is, right at the top of this AMC grifter tier list that we did back in June, I think. June. I have it, well, in Telegram from, where did it go? Here it is. Yeah, I think it said June 23rd, actually. And you know what? I think I would stand by this. I think it holds up, quite frankly. I think it holds up. You know, we have some new people, some new grifters. And yeah, of course they're gonna, occupy some of this, but I don't think that we were far off at all here. I mean, this is everybody that mattered at this time. And Al from Boston is just the worst. The only person that I wish were on here is Casey Shaw. I still don't really think he is relevant at all. I don't think he matters to this movement, quote unquote. But it's so ridiculous. He's an Al wannabe in my mind. Casey Shaw is an Al wannabe. At least Casey Shaw allows comments. That's it. I mean, that's it. I'm done tonight. I really wonder, is anybody on Reddit talking about this? I don't have any rant left in me, Model 3 dude. I've said everything. I can't call Al from Boston a clown anymore. I can't. It doesn't do any good. And I mean, especially now, like I've called him every name in the book. I don't know. But this has to change. It has to change. Oh, remember when half a dozen senators committed insider trading and profited off of a pandemic, and 24 hours later, everyone forgot about it, just pretended it never happened? Yeah. Remember when Trey Collins told everybody that the squeeze was still coming in June and July of 2021? And he sat there with his hands folded like he was praying, telling people, I really believe that this is going to squeeze in July, guys. I mean, I really believe it, like, from my heart. Yeah? So that's why you closed your positions and didn't tell anybody. That's fucking fraud. That's securities fraud. Your ass belongs in fucking jail. At the very least, all the money that you probably fucking snorted up your nose by now, all that money needs to be returned. That's not your money. You did not get that fairly. That's ill-gotten gains, my friend. You're fucked. You're fucked. Oh, remember when that happened? And then he left and everybody just forgot about it. Like it never happened. Just pretended it never happened. Doesn't matter. We still believe what he told us. You still believe what he told you. You know, there's really no better argument for how absurd this thing is at this point. The guy who publicly told people AMC was going to squeeze and privately sold and cashed out for $1 million while his followers continue to hold worthless bags now. Those people, they still believe what Trey told them. That's how ridiculous this is. And with that, there's nothing else I can say right now. My mind is blown. It's blown. Have a good night. Sorry for the high revs, I guess. But, I mean, just when you think that, I don't know. No, I didn't think that. I didn't think that things were going to end anytime soon. I didn't think that they were going to stop grifting. so I can't say that, but I wish I could. But, you know, I'll take a page from the apes here. I'll take a cue from them. Check this out. These grifters might be doing this now, and they're winning. Oh, they're winning right now. Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, look at me, look at my channel. I'm like a retail investor, and the grifters are like the hedge funds. But you know what? They can't do it forever. They can't do it forever. Someday there will be a day of reckoning. And these clowns, every last fucking one of these guys, in some way, but particularly this guy at the top here. I don't even care about Lou. I don't even care about Lou. Al, Trey, Kansas 5. You're fucking going down. You don't get to fucking lie and mislead people so that you can cash out and wear a fucking dumbass Hawaiian shirt and look like Shart the Vix here. Not financial advice. And whatever happened to this guy? Rogue the Legacy. He was irrelevant then. I don't know what that makes him now. It's probably not. I don't even think he's on YouTube anymore, actually. I looked him up the other day. Couldn't find him. Literally couldn't find him. Review Pork. The Masked Idiot. The Misinformed Investor. Married in this clip here, wearing a wedding band. Not for too much longer after this. I hope it cost him his marriage. I really do. And Trey Collins. Oh, Trey. Babyface Trey in 2021. Looked like he was 23, 22. Oh, that's funny because he was. These days, well, don't do drugs, kids. Just say no. And just say no to these grifters. This can't go on forever. At some point, the shorts must cover, so to speak. So to speak. Good night. See ya. Fuck these grifters.
Here's your present.